Greetings, students new to GIS. Let me do 3 things with you folks. First of all, salute you for embarking on your geospatial journey. Secondly, give you some encouragement to use geospatial technology in your university life and in your future career. And number 3, discuss where geotechnologies are going in this decade. Well, first of all, why should you listen to me? Well, I've served in 4 major sectors of society. First of all, academia. So I teach at several different universities, and like your professor, I love teaching and I love working with students like you. So I teach at the University of Denver, Elmhurst University, and North Park University at the current time. I also have a role in private industry. So I'm in education at ESRI, Environmental Systems Research Institute. I'm the education manager there, and my team and I are existing solely to support students, faculty, deans, provosts, facility managers at campuses, other researchers and instructors on campuses, and in K-12 education as well, and in after-school clubs, and in libraries, and in museums. So anywhere there's education happening, we want to be there to support and encourage and provide resources where people can be successful in education with geospatial technology. Number 3, I've actually worked in nonprofit organizations, National Council for Geographic Education, and others. I'm very passionate about geography education and GIS, as I hope that you are getting familiar with right now. And fourth, I've actually spent a lot of time in my career in government agencies. So I worked at NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. I've worked at the U.S. Census Bureau as a geographer, and also at the U.S. Geological Survey as a cartographer and geographer. So again, you don't have to listen to me, but as you spread your network, as you build your network, I encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn, watch some of my videos on my video channel. I've got 5,000 videos out there, folks, so I'm very passionate about all of this. Look at my tweets, etc. So I'd love to connect with you if you feel I can be a valuable part of your network. And I encourage you to build your network while you're at university. It's going to serve you really well. And also, the geospatial community is very generous. They're very nurturing. And many of us, most of us, I would argue, love working with students. And we want to encourage you as you go forward. But I'm still learning, despite all this, that I've talked about. I'm still learning. I'm a lifelong learner like you all.
Now, what do you want to see in society?
This may seem like a pretty deep question for your introductory class as you start this course, but I submit to you all that it's worthy of consideration. This is a disruptive and pivotal time, right? But you have a major role to play in helping shape our society with your newfound knowledge and skills. Now, Geographic Information Systems, or GIS, is a tool that you can actually feel good about. It's a technology that you can feel good about. Why? Well, it's being used by the Rainforest Deforest Action people, by the Jane Goodall Elephant Foundation, by the EPA, by your city and county government to make communities, our world, our regions, our states, our country safer, healthier, happier, and more sustainable. That's really what GIS is all about. Now look at the COVID-19 situation. People are consuming interactive maps, dashboards, and infographics by the millions per hour. Why? Because these pieces of information, all made possible by web-enabled geographic information systems and spatial data, enable people to make decisions daily. Masks, no masks, distancing, what kind of policies should we enact? What kind of laws should we enact? How can I make decisions on where I should feel comfortable and safe today? So people are using these by the millions per hour. I would also encourage you not to get too focused on the tools. Yes, the tools are important. ArcGIS Online, ArcGIS Pro, Spatial Analysis, Survey 123, web mapping applications like Story Maps. They're all good tools. But the ultimate goal is to nurture this tool, your brain. Your brain is the most important tool of all. The ultimate goal in using GIS in education and beyond is to foster spatial thinking, critical thinking, and problem solving, to empower you as a future decision maker in the workforce. GIS has never been just about the tools. It's about empowering you to a greater goal. Now, this is undeniably a pivotal time for geographic information systems. I believe that the spatial thinking is critical to so many aspects and disciplines in society. Why? Well, because everybody's asking the where question and the whys of where question. I believe that the infusion of spatial thinking and mapping tools can be done at all levels and needs to be done at all levels. It gives you also, student, future graduate, a clear advantage no matter what career you go into, nonprofit, academia, government, or private industry, in fields including health, transportation, science, business, city planning, engineering, public safety, social work, and so many others. Now, I just submit to you all that these are 5 forces that I think bring us to a pivotal moment in geospatial technology in education and society. Your list may include something different, but I would just welcome your comments. First of all, geo-awareness. People are aware of these tools. They may be just using geospatial technology to find the nearest coffee shop or the nearest library or a building across campus, but they're using some aspect of geospatial technology, web maps, satellite images, and so on. The geotechnologies themselves have evolved into the cloud, and just like when you use, your music streaming services or use Google Docs or any other cloud-based service, you're doing that for a variety of reasons. Backup, security, sharing, and certainly the issues and problems that our world is confronting, ranging from health to water to population to biodiversity loss to sustainable agriculture, et cetera. All of these are cross-disciplinary problems, right? And so they invite, they encourage, they really need people from all a diversity of disciplines to weigh in on. Okay, so we need the economists, we need the sociologists, we need the planners, all weighing in on these problems. Okay, so they cross disciplines, but they also cross political boundaries. They're not just one country, they're not just one state or one county. They also cross physical boundaries. They're not just one watershed, they're not just one ecological zone. They cross all kinds of other boundaries too. So also geo-enablement. People are enabled to use these tools as never before. So they're aware of societal issues and they're also enabled to do so. And the fourth of the 5 forces I submit as storytelling with maps. Now you've heard, or you will hear shortly, about story maps, multimedia maps that can tell a story. So maps have been used to tell stories for thousands of years, but now we've got this web-enabled multimedia set of mapping tools called story maps and other web mapping applications that allow me and allow you to tell your story about what you're really passionate about. Maybe it's trash in your community, maybe it's invasive species, maybe it's water quality, maybe it's energy, whatever it is. You're passionate about something and you can tell a story using mapping technologies, geographic information systems. And the 5th of the 5 forces, geo-awareness, geotechnologies, geo-enablement, storytelling with maps, the 5th one is citizen science, ordinary people gathering data to make a change in their communities. And that's really possible with these web-enabled tools. I also like to submit to you all that there are 5 trends that I believe are important that bring us to this point. First of all, computer-aided drafting, building information management, and GIS. So interior versus exterior spaces, that boundary, if you will, is starting to merge. Also, automated intelligence and machine learning. You're going to be hearing more about this, but is rapidly transforming geographic information systems. Remote sensing and web-enabled imagery sources, LiDAR, drones, UAVs, all of these are important as well. And also, I would say that another key piece of these trends is 3D. Now we've got a 3D world. It makes sense that we've got 3D mapping tools, and indeed we do now. So that's encouraging and that's good. So 5 trends that have brought us to this point. And finally, the 5th trend is really the web GIS platform. You've got a platform, and by its nature, by its definition, a platform is something that people can build on. So it's no longer just, your professor and I working on our own little GIS projects and we can't share it. It's enabled by this cloud-based, SaaS-enabled, software as a service-enabled infrastructure. And you're going to be hearing more about that in your course. Now, going forward, folks, what are the 5 skills that I believe are most important as you use GIS? First of all, be curious. Asking good questions is a key part of the process of scientific inquiry. It also helps you to be tenacious about using the tools and practicing new methods. Number 2, being able to work with data and be critical of it. Hey, just because it's a map, can I trust it? Just because it's a web map, can I trust it? Be critical of the data. Know where that data came from and who created it. And when you're creating your own maps, the symbology, the classification method, that impacts how your audience sees the issue that you're outlining. So be critical of how you present information. Maps are very powerful, but they should be used with great care, okay? Also, I would say learn geographic and geotechnical foundations, scale, systems thinking, symbology, classification, map analysis methods, map projections. These actually all still matter. Number 4, be adaptable, be flexible, be willing to go outside your disciplinary comfort zone or even your regional comfort zone. Be willing to go international, for example. And 5th and finally, develop good communication skills. Learning how to use a variety of web mapping applications and being able to present yourself orally and visually with those tools. Learn how to write peer-reviewed articles. Despite the rise in geo-awareness that I mentioned earlier, you'll need to give your elevator speech at some point to stakeholders, to your boss, to your deans, to your provost, your board of directors, your community, and others. I actually have some elevator speeches as examples on my YouTube channel. But the point is, have different lengths of this speech, because you might have, hey, you've got an hour, you've got 5 minutes, you've got 1 minute to present why this actually matters and why we need to fund your position in the organization. So have that elevator speech ready. And recognizing these forces that I identified, these skills, these trends, I hope can help you to navigate your pathway forward. It is a journey, and give yourself some time to take that journey. Don't feel like you have to learn all of geotechnologies at once. Stick with it. It's worth doing. Learning any inquiry-based, rapidly changing, rapidly evolving tool like geographic technologies is challenging, but it's infinitely worthwhile for the sake of your own pathway and for the planet. So I salute you, and I salute your professor. Thanks for having me, and I hope this was useful. Feel free to watch it again, but map on. Thanks.